It's how you raise a child. Simple.
I got my ass beat growing up.
Well, one thing before I close out, our show producer said that his mom didn't beat him. It's time for the Almost Talk Show. It's your boy Troy Weeks Music here. And we have Jayson from the BX. And we have Roman from the MD area, Baltimore area. And if you hear my voice, you know what that means. So go grab your tea cups, your glass, your shot glass, however you like to have your tea, and let's make it happen. We're going to start things off with our hummus tea, of course, and we're going to get right into it. So let's get right into it. It's called the hummus intellect. Bear the rod, spoil the child. I know every one of y'all heard that, especially being black or Latin. Okay? A psychologist professor of mine explained that parents beating their kids is not such a black versus white thing. It's more of a social economic thing. The more money that their family has, the more likely they are to rob their child. What do you think about that? Interesting. It's kind of funny because a friend in that same class was saying how her parents are both lawyers, but they still beat her. And so the professor asked her, well, what is your parents' background? So my parents' background, they both came from, low income back, lived in the project. She was like, boom, there's your point. Like, even though your parents, are not successful, they're still, their background, socioeconomical background came from a certain kind of living. I feel like, I don't think it's a black or white thing. I just feel like more, honestly, we heard it growing up because as black, I can speak for myself before. But when you have money, you don't have time to be focused on figuring out what kids that you ain't raising them. So you can't spoil the child because you ain't focusing on your child because you're busy spending your money and getting more money and doing things you shouldn't, and instead of spending that quality time with your kids. I don't think if you spoil them, I just feel like there's nothing wrong with spoiling. It's just but if you're not teaching them value and responsibilities, then, that's a problem. Because, if they're getting all A's, and you're like, well, I'm going to spoil them and treat them because they're getting A's, that's one thing. But if they're not getting A's, they're bad in school, always getting reports sent home, why would you reward them? Yeah, so that's spoiling a child. But, I just thought that was interesting. So, Jordan, what do you think about this? Jordan, sorry, why I keep doing that? Roman. Y'all names together make Jordan.
Okay. In my opinion, I was raised in a black and Hispanic home. I'm mixed. So I know both sides of this coin. Okay. And before anyone in this start coming at my ass, let me clarify some things. We were taught to our parents were taught to discipline us, regardless of what the hell we did. So if anybody wants to cut the bullshit, let's be real for a minute. 90% of us in this group chat, if I'm not mistaken, were raised during an era where Jesus, wait a minute. Ooh, child.
Get back to those beatings?
It's ridiculous for somebody to say it's a social problem. It's not. It's how you raise a child. Simple. Let's not sit here and act like 90% of the children today need to get spanked because they don't know what they're doing. Honey, please, I was raised on the south side, honey. I know how to behave. Please, in the last 21 years of my life, I knew what to do. And I knew how to act. 90% of the generation today don't even know how to behave or have manners. Come on, y'all. If y'all gonna really complain about spanking your child, which some of them consider that abuse, honey, y'all need to get a mental check because that is no excuse to claim it as abuse. Ugh.
Right. Well, that's what I'm talking about. Thank you for that, Roman. Jayson, what do you think about that? Almost intellect.
I got my ass beat growing up. So, I'm just saying, I got my ass beat growing up. I didn't grow up in a poor neighborhood. I actually grew up in a very rich neighborhood. And Yeah, but my dad was, Dominican immigrant. His mom did his thing, but she was also rich. So I think it was just more like a cultural thing. I don't really think it's economic. I think it's just a cultural thing. Like, we don't play that. Why doesn't a black guy or a Spanish guy go shoot up the spot? Because, mom's coming over to beat your ass for embarrassing the whole family. When you say a black man shooting up a school or a white man, Spanish man, easy. It's always white people.
Right. I'm looking at this. Y'all giving me my life tonight. Yeah, that was our homo's intellect. I'm going to read the question one more time so that if somebody wants to comment, this is what we do each and every time. So, we repeat the question just so that they can know. Well, one thing before I close out, our show producer said that his mom didn't beat him. So what are you saying? That, you're not part of the clique? Maybe your mom didn't come from maybe your mom didn't come from a socioeconomical background when she was beaten, so maybe that's why she didn't believe in beating you. Maybe, you know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, maybe that's why, but thank you for that, Aaron. We appreciate you. But for those of you listening and tuning in, the homo's intellect is this: spare the rod, spoil the It's a psychological concept of mind explain that parents beating their kids is not so much a black versus white thing as it is a social economic thing. The more money the family has, the less likely they are to rob their kids. Why do you think this is so? So if you're tuning in and you're part of the Verse TV family, please like, comment, subscribe. Let us know what you think. Roman and Jayson are here for it. They say what they have to say. And it is what it is. So shout out to Jayson and Roman for holding it down.